Hi there. When we're talking about posture, what we'd like to do is get you to experience what neutral posture is. Our bodies are incredible machines. They're designed to dance and move in all kinds of planes. However, when we go to load them, and that can be by increasing what we lift, carry, push, or pull, or even holding a position for long periods of time, when we go to do that, what we want to do is come back to neutral position. Neutral posture places the joints and the ligaments and the muscles in their best mechanical advantage in their safest position. So we reduce the risk of injury by coming back to neutral. What does that feel like and what does it look like? The first thing I'm going to get you to do is stand up where you are, get some room to move, and we're going to start looking at the back. The back is only one part, but it's a very structural, integral part. And it's the foundation for everything else. All our other joints, our shoulders, our knees, our hips, everything else have a neutral position as well. But we'll start with the neck. What I want you to do first is plant your feet side by side, okay, and don't move them. And I want you to take a look over your right shoulder and landmark the farthest thing you can see. Got that? And we'll come back to neutral, into looking face forward. And then looking over your left shoulder and come back to neutral, looking forward. Now, the next part of this, don't move your feet yet, is putting your chin, your fingers on your chin. It's kind of like this. And what I want you to do is pull your chin away and hold 3, 4, and move back. Pull away, 2, 3, 4, come back. And pull away, 2, 3, 4, and come back. Now, still without moving your feet, look over your right shoulder again and landmark the farthest thing you can see. And over your left shoulder and come back. How does that compare to the first time around? If you've done correctly, the second time around, you should see a little bit further. We do an awful lot in forward flexion. And what happens with our back is that part of our neck gets bent forward. Now, if our heads were completely straight on with our spine, that means as we were walking and that forward flex, we'd be looking at the ground for the most part of the day. But we don't do that. What happens is we want to see the world. So we lift our heads up. And as we lift our heads up to see the world around us, it starts to jam these vertebrae in the back of the neck. Now, what you've just done with this exercise is you've brought the head back and you've increased the space now between the vertebrae of the neck, and you get better rotation and mobility. And it feels a lot better, doesn't it? It's a pretty amazing difference. So one of the landmarks for putting the cervical spine into a neutral position is ears over your shoulders. So every now and then you might want to check yourself. Just go, where are my ears? Where are my shoulders? And bring it back. There's one last component to this, and we call it high beams. It's a little bit of hip extension. And like this is high beams, this is low beams. High beams and low beams. And what high beams does is it helps to offset the flexion in our upper body. So for example, if I were to take this ruler and place it on my back, I should have 3 touch points. My head, between my shoulder blades, and my low back. If I bend forward to do something, I'm not touching the ruler with 3 places anymore, am I? So to do that, what I need to do is put the high beams on, extend my hips a little bit, and the ruler comes back to my head. I bring my head down, extend my hips, and the ruler comes back to my head, and so forth. So the purpose of high beams and a little bit of hip extension is to offset the flexion in your neck and your upper back, to maintain that S-curve of the spine. So although the ruler is straight, the S-curve falls within that parameter. Now when you go to push or pull or anything like that, what you want to do is move your whole body, weight shift your whole trunk. So you're not approaching the load with your shoulders and your arms and muscling it forward. You lock your arms in position and you weight shift into it. Likewise, if you go to lift, You want to straddle that forward, that lunge position, get into the high beams, flex your hips and knees, and keep your upper trunk as upright as possible to avoid that lever arm kind of action. When you apply it to sitting, what you want to do is put on the high beams and get right into the back of the chair so that you can take advantage of the lumbar support as much as possible. The other exercise you can do with the chair, stand in front of it, straddle it to one side, and then sit but go only halfway. Your bottom has automatically gone into high beams. And why is that? It's a motor pattern. You learn that as a kid when you learn how to sit down. Your bottom already anticipates sitting. So this is a good reminder. If you're going to do work, lift, push, or pull, or anything like that, pretend there's a chair behind you and you're about to sit down. Chances are you'll put yourself into a better posture by doing that.